After the great finale of the Book of Boba Fett, we get a surprise end credits scene. Here is what it means. After Boba Fett and Fennec express their unease of leading the locals of Mos Espa while they are rebuilding their city, it is hinted that they may go on to different adventures and that someone else should be in charge of Mos Espa. Boba Fett throwing the fruit to Black Krrsantn kind of is a symbolic expression of that. In the post-credits scene, we discover who that new leader will be. It's none other than Cobb Vanth, who was shot by Cad Bane in Chapter 6. Even though we were meant to believe that Black Krrsantn was recovering in the Bacta Tank at the palace, we discover that it is Vanth who is kept alive in the Bacta Tank. But his injuries are apparently so life-threatening that Bacta alone won't be able to heal him, and that is why we see a second person getting ready to perform surgery on our favorite sheriff. It is Modifier, played by actor and composer Stephen Thundercat Bruner, who composed the second Venom movie soundtrack. In Chapter 4, The Gathering Storm, we see in a flashback how Boba Fett saved Fennec's life by asking Modifier to replace her innards with modding technology. This post-credits scene shows the Modifier getting ready to do the same to save the life of Cobb Vanth. So once he is back as a sheriff on the streets of Mos Espa, he may get the nickname RoboCobb, as someone in the comments suggested. This also has an important consequence for the future of Boba Fett and Fennec and may open the possibility for a second season of the Book of Boba Fett. The story structure of this season follows the same path as the story of Moses in the Book of Exodus. At the end of the journey through the desert, Moses is not the one who will lead his people into the Promised Land. He dies, and Joshua is appointed as the leader of Israel. Thankfully, Boba Fett didn't die at the end of this story, but he seems to hand over leadership to Cobb Vanth so he can do what? Two options, I think. One, he stays at the palace as the daimyo while Cobb Vanth takes care of the city. He can also bring the people from the countryside, like Freetown, and the city folks together, as we've seen happening in this finale. They could develop other stories for a potential second season here on Tatooine, maybe bringing back the Sand People or expanding some of the other story threads that they briefly showed in this season. Second option, Cobb Vanth becomes the daimyo, and Boba Fett and Fennec go on to new adventures away from Tatooine. But would those stories have enough weight for a second season if you cut out the backstory of Boba's redemption? And can he really step down as daimyo when we heard him say over and over again that he wants to lead the tribes of Tatooine? What do you think will happen next? Would you like to see a second season of the Book of Boba Fett? Let me know in the comments.